Happy Palindromes Day, everyone! Now, do you know what a palindrome is? Well, if you look at today's date in the UK, at least, then you will be able to work it out. It is a series of numbers or letters which read the same backwards and forwards. So today is the 22nd of November 2022, and in the UK we do 22, 11, 22. So it's the same backwards and forwards. Doesn't work in the US though, does it, Paul? Because you say it slightly differently, don't you?
11, 22, 22.
So that is November 22nd, 22. So I don't know when you will next have a palindrome in the US, but there are lots more examples and we're going to take a look on today's show. There are words such as madam, so M-A-D-A-M, and would you believe race car, R-A-C-E-C-A-R. And
what about dad?
Dad, well, yes, that's an easy one. So I thought that we would put Paul to the test here with a little quiz. I've got a list of some palindrome words. I'm going to give Paul a clue, and you will have the clue at home as well, and we will put the answers up on the screen afterwards. So here we go. These are all palindromes. What you might do to a wall after you strip off old sheets from it. Okay, so what else might you put on a wall that's not pinned?
Wallpaper?
And if you took that down and then you put new stuff up, what would you be doing there? You
Pasta?
would... Remember, palindrome. The klaxon's gonna go.
I don't know.
You would re-paper.
Oh my god.
Okay, maybe that was too difficult. Alright. Right, okay. What about this one? I will say... Oh, we'll give you an easy one next. It's midday.
Noon.
Correct. What about this one? Okay, you've got to watch what I'm doing here. Look at my eyes. What am I doing?
Blinking.
As well as that, what am I doing here? I'm looking through our ring light, so what am I doing through it?
Microphone?
It's a palindrome, remember? What do you do with your eyes? What are eyes actually called in slang? Well, they're known as peepers, aren't they? So it was a peep. A peep. Okay, and
Sorry.
to finish off, an easy one. Not your dad.
Your mom?
Correct. Take some time to reflect on today's show and then please subscribe. Words in the UK and the US sometimes have different meanings. We say one thing over in the UK and something else in the US. So we're going to give you a few examples from our extensive list. Don't worry, we're not going to go through the 30 or so that we revised. But we'll start off with, I suppose, something that you might need when you are out and about. You would ask for the toilet or the loo in the UK, but in the US you would...
Restroom? Bathroom?
Yeah. It's not a quiz, you should know this. The answers are written down on this sheet.
I know that.
Something that Paul likes to buy a lot of over here are trainers.
Oh gosh.
So what would you actually go into the shop and ask for?
Sneakers.
Come closer, you're so far away. This camera down here can't see you. Oh, we're going to go to a few food-based ones now. This is a quick-fire round. So I will say the British word and Paul will say the American word. Eggplant.
Aubergine.
Rocket.
Arugula.
That's easy for you to say. Courgette.
Zucchini.
Now that we are on the subject of something beginning with Z, that sort of reminds me that Over here, the last letter of the alphabet is Z, but in the US,
It's Z.
and another one, which is a Z or Z. Over here, we talk about a postcode, but in the US, it's a
Zip code.
correct. Right. Let's move on to motoring. In the UK, it's a motorway. In the US, it's a
Highway.
We use petrol in our tanks here, but in the
Gas.
US, it's
Gas.
gas. But gas in the UK is what you cook with on your oven. But it's gas in the US as well, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's a little bit confusing. Okay, a bin is a garbage can, a bonnet is a hood, and a boot is a trunk. If you go to the off license over here, you're buying some beers or spirits, but in the US, you go to a
Liquor store.
correct. We play football, but you play
Soccer.
yeah. Now, I really want to get back onto my favourite subject of food. This is leading up to something, I promise you. Okay, so in the UK, we buy bags of crisps. But in the US, you buy bags of...
Chips.
Indeed. But chips in the UK are fries, unless you go to McDonald's, where chips are called fries.
French fries.
And that brings me on to chips, because over here, chips are what you would call French fries in the US, and that's the type that you get at McDonald's. So definitely not chips, which are really chunky ones. You would still call those fries, though, in the US, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Very confusing. Sweets are...
Candy.
Biscuits are...
Oh, they're called cookies.
Yeah, so what about the Cookie Monster? In the UK, he's called the Biscuit Monster.
What?
No, you didn't know that.
That's
Candy
weird.
floss.
Cotton candy.
Here's one. Well, you know this. Over here, we used to have a chocolate bar called Marathon.
Marathon.
Yeah, the thing that you run. But in the US, it was called something else. But now the UK uses the US name. In fact, it has done for, I don't know, 20 years or so. Do you know what it is?
Is it Milky Way?
It's not, but I'm glad you said that. It's Snickers. However, this is, to finish off this section, Milky Way in the UK has got no caramel, but a Milky Way in the US is what we call a Mars in the UK.
Is it because it's like a solar system analogy to it? Is it that why it's called Mars and Milky Way?
I think so. Well, it's certainly out of this world.
Thank you for watching our show today. You must be liking it so far. If you haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe.
Now, some words, of course, in the UK and the US remain the same, but they are pronounced differently, aren't they, Paul?
Absolutely.
Now, this will be fun. Anyone who is familiar with Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong may know what we are about to do, or rather sing. It is, you say tomato and I say tomato. So we've got our words, and hopefully this will work out. So I think, Paul, you are going to start off. So we'll get a little song going. Na 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 na. Okay, off you go.
You say either and I say either. You say neither and I say neither.
Either,
Either,
neither.
neither.
Let's call the old thing off. You like potato and I like potato. You like tomato and I like tomato.
Potato,
Potato,
tomato.
tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. Well, hopefully you didn't see the joins in that.
Marcus, what are you doing?
I'm trying to find the URL for our show.
Why don't you just Google it?
Well, it can be a bit of a wacky world out there sometimes. And when you're buying magazines in the UK, you have to be careful what you get. Well, at least you used to, because things are not always completely as they seem.
What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is that way back in the day, before magazine TV listings were deregulated. In other words, it used to be that the BBC could only print BBC listings, and it used to be that ITV could only print ITV listings, or the company that represented ITV in the publishing world. But then maybe 30 years or more ago, all that was deregulated, and everybody can print whatever they like now, as long as you're paying the relative licenses and all that sort of stuff. But the magazine titles remain. So the BBC, because it started off in the days of radio and no television, published the Radio Times, and all it contained were Radio Times. But now it's the biggest TV listings magazine in the UK.
What?
Yeah. So if you want your TV listings, most people will buy the Radio Times. However, there's also this.
What is this?
TV Times.
Okay.
And it does contain TV Times, and this is what was the relic, I suppose, of when it was only ITV or ITV and Channel 4 listings way back in the day. TV Times is still a very popular magazine, but it also does contain Radio Times.
Huh?
But only for a select few stations.
Funny.
Anyway, those are two of our favourite magazines. Now, I did say that the world can be a very strange place at times, and I think you will find, with a few oddities coming up, that that is very true indeed. So watch these films. With the rain, with that very distinctive steeple behind us, you could be forgiven for thinking that we are in London. And you're not far off. We are actually in New York, but behind us is St. Paul's Chapel. It is known as the little church that stood because it has withstood various issues over the years that could have seen it disappear forever, including being very close to the site of the 9/11 terrorist attacks in Manhattan. But the interesting thing about this church is that it is a direct replica of St. Martin in the Fields in Trafalgar Square in London. And if you don't believe us, take a look at this. And you'd be forgiven for thinking that we're in New York because the sun is shining. But look behind us, we are actually in London. And this is St. Martin in the Fields Church. And as we said, it is the church that St. Paul's Chapel on Broadway in New York is based on. And you can certainly see the resemblance.
Thank you for watching our show today. If you like what you see, please like, comment, and subscribe.
So you may remember from our trip to New York, we went to Shake Shack and we enjoyed it so much, I said it was the juiciest burger that I'd ever had. And when we got back to London, I thought, wonder do they have it here? And lo and behold, they do. So we have brought our friend Peter along to Covent Garden and we are going to tuck into this. So let's see what it's like. Does it compare well with the New York version? Well, it certainly does look as juicy and as filling as the New York one. So I think there's only one way to do this. Delicious! It does get the thumbs up. But it's healthy too. There's tomato, there's lettuce. Chips on the side, fries. It really truly is the juiciest burger in New York and also here in London.
What have I got? I don't know what yet. You want it like a shroom.
Yes, with a shroom. Because I'm guessing it's like a mushroom burger or something.
Oh.
So, Peter, what did you think of your first Shake Shack experience?
My shake, what is it?
Shake Shack. Shake it all out.
Shake it, oh baby, shake it out, baby. Yes, it was really nice, and I had a mushroom.
A shroom burger, I think they call it.
A shake shroom burger.
Shake shroom. It's very hard to say, but easy to eat.
And that's without a drink. It was really good, and the Fanta was superb. Thank you, Marcus, for bringing me here for my 35th birthday.
Our pleasure. And Paul, did it meet your New York expectations?
I think that it was just as nice and juicy as the one that we had in New York. So yeah, I would definitely recommend anyone that hasn't been to Shake Shack to definitely give it a try.
Try and say that several times in a row.
Where do you go for great views like this?
Our show, of course.
Ah, absolutely. So please subscribe.
Well, we thought that Morelli's was only in Northern Ireland, and you know that I always say anytime we get an ice cream, oh, does it taste as good as a Morelli's? Well, would you believe there is a Morelli's at Covent Garden in London as well? Maybe they're part of the same family. Who knows? But we are going to do a little taste test and see if it compares to Morelli's in Port Stewart.
Yeah.
Hi, can I get 3 soft serve cones, please?
3 cones, yeah?
Yeah.
3, yeah.
3 soft serve.
That's it.
Chocolate flavour?
No, just the ice cream, thanks.
Oh wow.
That's everything. Yeah. Is this Morelli's? If you relate it in any way to Morelli's in Northern Ireland?
They are cousins.
Cousins! Oh, fantastic! Absolutely fantastic. Because I've been going to Morelli's, I live here, but I was going to Morelli's in Port Stewart since I was 3 years old, so there you go. So that's a long time, nearly 50 years. Note that I said nearly.
Yeah, it's nearly.
I'll just get the receipt. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Marcus.
Well, I'm so glad I asked. So Morelli's at Covent Garden here in London, they are cousins of Morelli's in Port Stewart.
Oh wow.
Who knew? We know now. Our friend Peter has joined us for the ice cream. What do you think of it, my dear? It's very tasty.
It is tasty.
I would say that it's slightly sweeter than the Morelli's in Port Stewart.
Is it?
Yeah, or maybe it's because when you have Morelli's in Port Stewart, you are eating it by the sea, and we are nowhere near the sea here, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
It might do.
And of course, in London, we live in a very sort of different climate times now. It's always hot here. It's now a tropical city, and here we are, you know, in the middle of winter, and it's hot.
By the Thames.
By the Thames.
I am really glad that we went to Morelli's to try this fabulous ice cream.
Yes. So why don't you pay a little visit to Covent Garden? Oh, it's dripping.